Hey guys, welcome to
This or That Thursdays!
So on this week we are talking about deficit calories versus surplus calories versus maintenance calories. So I guess we should kind of define, what is maintenance calories?
Maintenance calories are what your body requires for you to do exactly what you're doing right now and staying the exact same. So if that is you're moderately active and you don't want to lose weight or gain weight, you want to stay at the exact same position you are now,
Those are
your maintenance calories.
And then calorie deficit would be what is less than maintenance, and a surplus would be more than maintenance. So why might you want to be in each state, and what are the benefits of being in each state? So calorie deficit would probably be the most common one that I see because I deal a lot with weight loss clients. So a calorie deficit is going to be how much less you eat from maintenance in order to lose weight, essentially. Or another way of saying that is controlled starvation. And then your maintenance
calories are staying exactly where you want to be, and then surplus is more of what I see on my end of the business with the performance coaching. Generally, people want to get stronger, faster, bigger. Well, you're going to have to eat in a calorie surplus because you need to fuel your muscles, fuel your body to get those results.
Now, what kind of deficit or what kind of surplus do you need to be in is going to really depend on what your goal is, what your timeline is with your goal, and
how active your metabolism is.
I mean, we saw this with Mike. I was handling his calories. I calculated. So there's one calculation that we use to establish your resting metabolic rate. So what your body requires just to simply breathe and sustain life currently. And then what we have from your resting metabolic rate is we discover what your maintenance is based on your activity level. And from there, we add in a surplus to or a deficit depending on what your goal is. For Mike, his goal was a surplus. And what we found was, based on the scientific calculation, he should have been at X amount of calories. We had a meeting at X amount of calories for a period of time.
And I was dropping about 15 pounds in 2 weeks.
No, you dropped 15 pounds in 6 weeks.
In 6 weeks.
In 6 weeks, you dropped 15 pounds, and maybe I should have checked that a little sooner. Learned my lesson there. So his goal was to put on weight, not take off weight. So it goes to show that the scientific calculations are just simply a calculation. It does not always be person specific. So we look at biofeedback. What kind of feedback is your body giving you in order to determine that? And what we actually discovered was, even after we calculated what a surplus should be for Mike, his actual surplus to be outside of maintenance and building once his metabolism kicked in full-heartedly here was actually 1,500 calories more than what we thought, which is pretty crazy to think. Whereas if I ate in that kind of a surplus, it might be way outside of where my metabolism is ready to handle, and I might really start packing on fat versus packing on muscle. And so this is where your goals come into mind and what kind of performance or weight loss or muscle building goals you have.
So the other thing to keep in mind with any type of deficit or surplus is, like Kayla said, you got to pay attention to the biofeedback. What is your body telling you? Because I felt like I was starving when we were at those calories, and I kept saying, like, I think I need to eat more to actually gain. And, well, trust the process. So we did. We did our due diligence, and we tried, and we just kept revamping the system after that. And we went up by, I think, 200 or 300 calories every week just to see if we would start bumping weight up. And yeah, like she said, it took up to 1,500 calories above what we calculated. So just because 1,500 is what worked for me, that doesn't mean that's 1,500 is going to work for everybody. So don't just figure out your maintenance calories off of an online calculator, put 1,500 on it, and say you're going to gain.
And I mean, and like we said, every person is very different. So a 200 calorie deficit might work really well for someone where that is, moderately active and they're maintaining that lifestyle, and 200 calories lends way to like that 1 pound a week or half a pound a week. However, for somebody else who is a chronic dieter, who has done every crash diet known to man, and their metabolism just fights them tooth and nail, they might need to spend some time at maintenance, rebuilding that metabolism, getting their body to trust them again. Listening to that biofeedback before going into a deficit or a surplus, because anything that is extreme, so if you drop your calories too low, your body might fight you. If you put your calories too high, your body might just start trying to store weight that isn't always conducive towards your goals. So maintenance is a really nice place to be sometimes, to start to understand biofeedback. What foods make you feel what way? How is your body responding? Is your body hungry? Is your body satiated? Do you have hunger cues? And really, how is your sleep-wake cycles? I mean, anybody that spends enough time in a calorie deficit knows that sleep is affected by your calorie deficit. So are things like your general movement in the day. So something that we call NEAT, or non-exercise activity thermogenesis, is the main contributor to weight loss, but people don't realize that. So it's not always about getting out and doing, your hour walk every night or going into the gym and crushing it. It actually comes back to what are the small movements that you're doing that lend way to your overall calories burned throughout the day. So you'll notice if you're in a calorie deficit for long enough, your hand movements go out the door. Your foot tapping.
You stop talking with your hands.
You stop talking with your hands. Your foot movements go out the door. You don't tap as much. You don't move around as much. You're not as animated because your body naturally slows that process down. In a calorie surplus though, and this is what Mike was saying when we were calculating his calories, is that his NEAT, or his non-exercise activity, was actually going up during the day. So he's pacing more, he's moving around more without even noticing it or trying. And that meant that he was burning more calories, so we just needed to increase that. So really, when we talk about calories, deficit versus maintenance versus surplus, there is a reason why you might be in every single stage. And weight loss is going to be your deficit, muscle building or performance building is going to be your surplus, and maintenance is going to be a lot of what I'm going to call a metabolic repair, or getting your body back to its ideal homeostasis, that ideal energy in versus energy out. And giving your body almost like that little bit of a break. Sometimes it's a mental break too, from being in a diet deficit or a diet surplus. And your brain just needs that, I just need to check out and be normal for a couple seconds.
If you have been in a deficit for a long time, say you've been constantly dieting because you've been worried about your weight, so you're in a constant deficit there's people who do it for years on end. I would recommend taking it up to maintenance and seeing what happens, because some people get stuck not being able to lose that weight, and they keep just eating less and less, thinking that's going to help, when the reality is they need to actually feed themselves. And
maintenance is a really good place to be too, as what we call giving yourself that diet break, or what some people might call a cheat day, or cheat day. A cheat meal, where you're giving yourself that little bit of a diet break, where you can kind of get out of that mental state of being in a deficit and allow yourself to have a little bit more food and nourish your body, and stopping that metabolism from slowing down. Anyways, hopefully you guys got something out of this chat today. If you need help calculating your maintenance, your deficit, your surplus calories, we are here to help support you guys. Don't ever hesitate to reach out to us. We are always here to answer your questions over here at Iron Body Coaching.
Have a great day, guys.